Hello, friends, and welcome to the reading. So, today we're reading for Virgo, and I'm really excited to do your reading. It's this really curious energy. I started off with I want a lion tomorrow. I want to make sure Virgo's reading is going up on time. I think Leo's is going to be a bit late. So I was like, I want Virgo's reading to go up on time, but I want a lion. So I'm going to pre-record Virgo's reading for like tomorrow. And I was a bit like, oh, not really in the mood. I don't know. This kind of energy. And then as I got kind of was setting up your cards and the cards started to like flip and tell me a story, kind of like a pre-story, right? I'm going to pull the cards on camera in a moment. I'm just going to actually adjust the camera slightly. Sorry about this. Um, yeah, I got excited. And basically, there's stuff going on here already that might be jumping out to you. But I want to jump forward a little bit to this deck, which is, it's actually the deck that I'm going to use for your energy. And on the bottom is this devil here. Now, you've got this message here. It's monkey, mirror, rapture, always and never. Now, this is exactly how these words came out. I picked them out without looking at them, and these are the words that were there. So it seems like you've got a choice, always or never, always or never. Are you like all in or are you all out? It's like, it's this weird kind of like, feels like a path. It kind of, it's giving me, now it's so funny because one of my friends mentioned, you know, the machine from Big, is it Zoltan? And he has, I think, is it in Big? He has, does he have his finger in it, like hovers over? I don't know if it's that specific one, but it just popped into my mind because my friend mentioned it. But it's like, you know, those old like arcade machines, those old fortune telling machines where it's like it hovers over maybe, or it like goes to yes, or it goes to no. I'm getting that kind of energy. It's like you're hovering, like, is it all in or you're all in or all out, always or never? Like, it seems like you've got some sort of choice. But then this monkey in the mirror, like, that's how I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it as the monkey in the mirror. Now, if you get something else from that, like, absolutely take whatever you're getting. If monkeys specifically mean something to you, I know they do to at least two Virgos that I know in my life. Specifically, monkeys, like, mean something specific to them. But mirror as well could be something for you. It could be whatever you get intuitively, whatever that means to you, take it. To me, I'm getting this kind of like funhouse energy of, you know, when you look in a mirror but it's like distorted, and it makes you look really skinny or really wide or like really tall or really short or like a funny face. So it could be you're playing with something like a filter, you know, on your phone, on your camera, where it's like you're distorting your features. It's funny because Leo had something like that with this dream that I had, which was because I've been playing with this like cartoon app as well, and it kind of exaggerates certain features. So I've really naturally got really big eyes, so my eyes look massive on that app, but like it makes my lips look bigger as well. So I had this thing about in Leo's reading about like a Barbie doll but with Bratz doll lips, or like a Barbie doll but with massive eyes, and it looks out of proportion. It's like some things suit some people and some things don't suit others. But now you're getting this thing about like this distorted image as well. So it could be like image manipulation programs, something like this that's coming through for you. I don't know. Take it if it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. Or like circus as well. I think Leo has something about circus. You've got this weird interplay between your two readings. So like, and big top as well. I keep getting big top, big top. Maybe somebody's got a big top, I don't know, big top half. So yeah, but I'm seeing like a circus tent, like an awning, like the top of a circus tent, big top. So yeah, like circus mirrors or funhouse mirrors that kind of distort how you look. But it's like the monkey in the mirror to me is kind of saying, especially with this devil here, it's like this is the monkey in the mirror. It's like it's you, right? I'm not saying that you look like this, whatever you look like, right? It's like your own reflection, but it's a part of yourself that is like, it's like either something to do with like your own subconscious talking to you, or maybe a slight devilish or mischievous part of yourself that wants to come through. Now, the devil can represent many different things, and I want to say in this reading, it's talking to me about like a part of yourself, right? A part of the way that you see yourself or you want to be seen. So, but then when you want to be seen a certain way, you actually suppress other parts of yourself. So I want to say the monkey in the mirror or the devil in the mirror is like a part of yourself that wants to come out to play. It's like this devil in the mirror is like, come out to play, Virgo, come and play with me, or come and play with this part of yourself, like your own energy that needs exploring. Now this can come out, again, I talk about Freud and the golden shadow a lot, or like you know, the shadow self. And it can be many different things. It could be perhaps you've got some kind of sexual desire that you think, oh, that's not very appropriate. I'm going to kind of like, you know, I don't know what people would think if I express that desire that I have, so I'm going to suppress it. I don't even want to like think about it myself, you know, something like that. It's like maybe you want to try something in the bedroom and you don't know how your partner's going to react. It's that kind of thing, but it's like a sexual, it's like a base need, right? A primal need that you have to be curious, to play, to explore. It's coming through as very playful, right? The monkey in the mirror. It's like a young, like playful, curious, experimental part of yourself that wants to come through. So it's like, it's tempting, like with it being the devil as well. It's like tempting. It's like, come and try this thing. What would it be like to be this person? Maybe it's like role play or fantasy in the bedroom. What would it be like to be in this situation or be this person? Now, it can be things as well like the need for violence. You know, again, it's like a primal need. The need to do things that get your adrenaline pumping. The things that need to. I'm not saying that you have a need for violence. I'm just explaining what I'm seeing here, right? So it could come through in many different ways, but it's like the need to get your blood pumping, the need to feel something, the need to be exhilarated. So it could be like, I want to go and ride on a roller coaster, or I want to, it's funny, I've got like funhouse mirrors and roller coasters now. Or it's like, I need to, you know, I'm really like, why am I like really, really strongly attracted to like seeing violence right now? Like maybe you just need to get that primal part of yourself out. So this is why things like violent video games or violent movies can be really, really cathartic and beneficial, because like sometimes, especially like it's a very masculine thing, but you know, take sex and gender and orientation out of it, like that kind of like hunter energy, right? That primal hunter energy, like kind of caveman energy. It's like that needs to come out. So what am I going to do? Now this leads me to Desert Storm. Now some of you may be familiar with that term, Desert Storm. These are the way the cards came out. They actually, if I'm honest with you, they came out that way. I saw the Storm card. This one fell off. It kind of like fell off and I didn't see it. And then I saw the Storm and I thought that feels like an energy that's coming towards Virgo. So I thought I'll talk about that. And then I picked up the deck to move it and the self dropped out at the bottom. And to me, it was like, again, with this like part of yourself, right? The shadow self. I only just realized that now. Like I've done all that talking about the monkey in the mirror and the devil. And I've only just realized now, like literally the shadow self, like it's there on the card. So yeah, definitely this card wanted to come through. And then like I flipped this one over and it was like the desert. And I was like, the way I looked at it, I was like, oh, Desert Storm, that's an actual thing. So, like most of the Virgos I know, there's this kind of action hero part of Virgo's nature where it's like they want to run in and be the hero. They want to be like, you know, the protagonist in an action movie. So it could be something to do with like, I don't know, like I know a Virgo who has these like, it's almost like past life dreams of being a soldier. So it's like something like that, like the need for action, the need for excitement, the need for playtime, whatever it is for you. It's like this base primal need, and it's like come out and play. But I want to say with it being the devil, it's like it's tempting and it almost feels a bit wrong. But I want to say it's the need itself, the feeling itself, the draw itself is not wrong, but it's how you action it, how you indulge that, how you satisfy that monkey in the mirror is the important thing, right? It's not the what it is, it's the how it's done. So it's like, say you have this, again, this is a very, very Virgo thing. It's going to be different for everybody, like especially like your Mars placement. If you go and look at your Mars placement, this is going to be it's going to have an effect on it as well. So you may have a particularly like a Mars placement that emphasizes this and kind of like bolsters it, or you could have a Mars placement that's kind of tempers it and cools it down. So they're telling me Libra Mars for somebody, but it's like Virgo has this kind of, it's like this weird Mars element that Virgo has, which I don't think Mars and Virgo typically are associated with each other, but it's like this need for action, this need for where was I going with this? I went off on a side note for some reason. Everything that happens in a reading is part of the reading. That's what I was going to say. I was going to say it's like you might have to like go to a gym, or like you know, say there's some kind of like inherent like frustration, or you know, you feel that kind of storm inside you. It feels like it's inside you. It feels like it's part of your own shadow, like a storm inside you building up. And it's like, maybe it's coming out as anger, or maybe it's coming out as kind of intemperance, or you know, that kind of like ratty attitude that Virgos sometimes get into, where it's like, you know, oh, Virgo's upset, they're getting ratty, like let's just leave them, let's just let the storm blow over, that kind of energy. I want to say you can find healthy expressions of that. So you're going to feel it coming, you're going to know, right? You're going to feel that like shadow part of yourself, or the devil in the mirror, the monkey in the mirror. You're going to feel it kind of, that primal like urge, that primal urge to shout, to, I don't know, hit something. So it's like, do something healthy, go for a run, go to a gym. I know a Virgo who's joined a boxing gym, right? It's like, go and punch a pillow, go and like, exercise is really important to Virgo. You are a sign that's associated with health and like the body activity, right? So I want to say, for a lot of Virgos, exercise is a key part in you being healthy and high vibrational. So it's like, what, there's something, and it feels like it's going to come out of nowhere again, like almost with this all or nothing, always or never. It's like, maybe you're bottling something up again. It's like something to do with your own shadow, a part of yourself that you're seeing perhaps as like a bad part of yourself, seeing it as a negative part of yourself, something. It's like a way that you don't want other people to perceive you, right? Whether it's like immaturity or childishness or playfulness or like silliness, it's like you're trying to hide it, but it wants to come out, right? It wants to, you can't deny it forever, so you need to find a healthy expression of it, otherwise it's going to like blow up, right? It's like the desert. It's like, it feels emotional as well, because the desert is dry, which means no water, which to me, water means emotion. So it's like no emotions, and then like a big storm of emotions. It's like Virgo's perfectly calm, you know, Virgo is steady, but all the time you're actually like drying it up, and then it comes through with this like blast of emotion. Like, it's almost like a blaster. It's like almost like your shadow self blasting out, or like, you know, and then it's like all this thunder and lightning then, and drama and chaos. It's like, it's almost like a self-sabotage, or like causing a tower moment or something. And again, with the sea serpent, this is like Kundalini energy, so it could be something to do with like sexual energy for you. It could be something where you can actually tap into your own power, but you need to, instead of suppressing it, you need to channel it and use it in a way where it's powerful and it's impactful, and it may be shocking, but it's kind of, it makes a big change. So I don't know, just try and temper it. Don't deny it, temper it, and find healthy ways to express that primal power within you. All right, interesting start to the reading. Let's just let's give this a bit of a shuffle. Again, that could just be a side message for one person. King of Swords, maybe somebody's got Aquarius placement. Maybe somebody needs to hear that. Maybe somebody's been a little bit too analytical. Again, it's like no emotions here, only logic. I'm very stoic. What do you mean feelings? I don't have feelings. You know, I don't feel anything about this situation, but actually you do, and you're bottling it up, and then it all comes out at once. So just, again, be aware of that. Okay, so let's get to your reading, Virgos. And I love Virgos as well. I saw the Lovers card there as well. I love Virgos. Like Virgos, I would be dead in a ditch somewhere if it wasn't for Virgos. They absolutely like mother hen me. If you're one of my Virgo friends watching this, I love you. Thank you for being so grounded and so nurturing and so kind to me, and absolutely like saving me from my own ridiculousness. Like, everybody needs a good Virgo friend. Okay, so I appreciate you, Virgos. That's what I'm trying to say. And Virgos need to be appreciated. Virgos are like a serving energy. It's like they want to nurture, they want to serve, they want to be a team player, they want to look after the people that they care about, you know, the friends. This can mean that they spread themselves too thin sometimes, and this means that they can overgive sometimes, where they're not actually looking after their own needs. Interesting, again, maybe go and look at that Leo reading, because there was someone in that Leo reading that had that. And it drains them, and then it's like, And if they're not appreciated, that's when that kind of like, you know, taking the ball in or like spitting the dummy out energy comes in, where it's like, you know, it can blow up. It can be like, I've been bottling this up. And it's that kind of martyr energy that Virgo sometimes has as well. So I want to say, if you are cross-watching this for somebody who you know who's a Virgo, and you know they're doing a lot for you, just tell them you appreciate them, right? Stroke their ego a little bit. Remind them that you'd be dead in a ditch without them, and that you value that. Maybe do them a little favor as well in return. You know, that's a nice thing to do. And that's all Virgo needs, really. They just need to know that they're appreciated, because it's part of the nature. It's part of the nature too. I mean, you may disagree with this. Again, look at your full chart. There's going to be variations within it. Individual personality is going to have slight variations, but generally Virgo energy lives to serve, right? Like Libra lives to love, Virgo lives to serve, in a way that's it can be taken advantage of, like Libra and Pisces energy, but I'm hearing dogmatic, or dogma as well. This could mean something to somebody. It's making me think of that movie with Alanis Morissette where she's God. So what are they on about? Sorry, I'm getting side messages. I think I need to Google what dogma is, but my phone's not handy. It's charging. So go and Google what dogma is. Pause the video, Google what dogma is. Okay, so like I feel like I know, but I'm not confident enough to explain it. What's going on? What's going on for Virgo? Right, clear that energy. Get out of here, energy. I'm going to get some Palo Santo. Sorry to be faffing. I'm just going to actually pause. I'm going to look up right, clearly they're trying to get me to do something because I'm getting all distracted. I'm going to pause. I'm going to look up what dogma means. I'm going to relight my fire, relight my candle. It's funny, like Leo readings popping back in again. And I'm going to light some Palo Santo or Nag Champa or something, and like just clear out this energy, and then we can start afresh. Again, that kind of storms clear out, right? So maybe this is something you need to do. Maybe you have to like clear the air with somebody. Maybe you have to like get rid of something and like start again. It's like, maybe there's a misunderstanding. It's like, let's take a few steps back. Let's go back to where we were before and start again and figure this out step by step. Again, it could be a side message for somebody. Right, back in a second. Okay, so it says dogma is like normally associated with faith, but it's like principles or a belief system or a set of values that somebody accepts as unquestionably true. Now the thing is, they're not questioning it, right? So it's almost like an inherent belief that you never stop to question. So I don't know if somebody has some kind of like personal dogma. It feels like a very it actually does feel like quite a Virgo energy. This kind of like underlying belief or like a core value. It feels like Hierophant energy, right? Which would be Taurus. So maybe some of you have got like Taurus Mars, just with that coming up before. It's like a particularly, it's like something that you believe is true without question. But that's the thing, without question. Why aren't you questioning it? What are you holding on to? Why are you scared to question a belief that you have? Why are you taking something at face value? I want to say because you're afraid, right? You're afraid of some kind of pillar of truth or some kind of foundation crumbling. It's like, if that isn't true, if that principle is called into question, everything falls down, right? It's like the keystone, like this comes through quite often. It's interesting with it being a kind of a Gothic, therefore religious building structure. It's the keystone. It's the brick in the archway that holds the archway together. If you remove the keystone, the archway will fall down. So there's some kind of principle or belief that you have that you refuse to question. It's like that's the way it is because that's the way it is. And I want to say it's attached to some kind of fear or memory from the past that I feel like if you allow it to be questioned, you will crumble. Because it's like you've built your whole life on this principle, or you've built your whole life on this belief. Your whole persona is built on this key belief or principle. And that's quite dangerous, isn't it? That's quite dangerous. It actually makes you incredibly unstable, because it's like they're showing me like pulling a brick out of a wall, another brick in the wall. That could be a song that's relevant for somebody, or like a Jenga. It's like everything's going to fall because everything's balanced on that one principle. So you're in actually quite a precarious position. It doesn't have to be you, it could be somebody around you, but there's fear attached to it, which I think is something to do with that devil. What is it, like you're scared of thinking, oh, maybe the devil's my friend? Maybe if you're particularly religious, right? Maybe if you've been brought up in a I'm very open here. I'm going to allow many different beliefs into my readings, right? Doesn't mean I'm endorsing them, and it doesn't mean that I believe in these things myself. Okay, it's just my degree is in humanities, so I like people. I like the stories that people tell. You know, I know that the word mythos from ancient Greece doesn't mean something that's untrue. It just means a story, right? So to me, it's all part of being human, are these stories. And I am not calling into question whether they are true or untrue, but there could be a situation where somebody is perhaps raised in a particularly religious foundation, and it could be that this idea of the shadow self, right, in, you know, making friends with the devil in the mirror, again, if you want to look this up, it's a philosophy. It's neither true or untrue as anything else, but it's Carl Jung in The Golden Shadow, and he talks about the collective shadow, you know, the parts. If you look at Victorian society, right, as a prime example, Victorian society in England was very like stiff upper lip, you know, collar buttoned up to the neck, don't show your ankles, you know, polite society, very formal, very sexually repressed, and yet they all had bloody syphilis because they were all fucking whores, right? Yeah, because they suppressed that part of themselves so much that it became something that was hidden in society, and therefore it became something toxic. So rather than being you know, open and communicative about their needs, about their wants and their desires, it became something that was very toxic and rotting. It was like a rot, right, underneath the foundations of Victorian society that wanted to present as being very dogmatic, very religious, very good, and really every single human is made up of both light and shadow, and that shadow only consumes us or rots our foundation when we refuse to acknowledge it. By shining a light on it, the shadow disappears. You see how it works? So you actually create shadows by shining lights too. You can't have one without the other. So it could be that somebody has some kind of resistance to, again, this embracing of the shadow self. The devil can only chain you if you fear him, if you acknowledge him, if you shine a light on that part of yourself, right? The devil within I'm talking about, he's got nowhere to hide. You know, he can't. The devil's surreptitious. I'm talking about the devil as a metaphor. So, you know, it's surreptitious, it's cunning, it likes the shadows, it likes the unknown, it likes it when people don't speak, because if people don't speak, then it can get away with things. So, yeah, having that kind of justice, Queen of Swords energy, or the Sword of Truth, the Ace of Swords, it allows you to really see things, really reflect on things, and analyze them and see the truth of a situation. We've not even pulled any cards yet for you, and look at all this stuff that I'm getting. But you're scared. You're scared of something that's part of yourself. You're scared of your own shadow. The Pilgrim and the comic. Yeah, look, the comic hides. The comic hides the darkness behind the smile. The Pilgrim talks about having to go on a it's your card in the tarot, it's the Hermit card. It talks about having to go off on a soul-searching adventure, to really self-analyze, to really go within, to really discover your own truths. So I'm actually just going to read the cards and let the cards kind of speak for themselves. So the numbers 20 and 26 may be important to you. Perhaps these were, you know, something happened when you were 20, or I don't know. The wanderer, the traveller, the apprentice. For the pilgrim, an outward journey is always an inward journey. The archetypal wanderer seeks wisdom, experience, and meaning in the farthest reaches of the globe and the deepest regions of the spirit. Others will wonder when the pilgrim will settle down and claim a more conventional life, but the pilgrim knows that their heart belongs in motion, and where there is motion, there is freedom, expansion, and growth. It almost feels like this is the opposite energy to you. It almost feels like this is a part of yourself that you've suppressed. The need to be free, the need to explore, the need to experiment. Responsibilities, social conventions. There you go, social conventions and logistics lull us to sleep, and soon the pilgrim becomes veiled in the slumber of the day-to-day. Excuse me. Yet when this archetype awakens, it rallies our sense of adventure, didn't I say the need for adventure, and leads us out of the door towards a new reality. With the pilgrim at your side, you'll never lack courage, nor do you need any amenity. Travel light, travel soon, your spirit needs it. When light, so those of you who are in high vibrational energy, learns, grows, adapts, and studies. When dark, so those of you who are sitting currently, and it, we dip in and out, those of you who are currently sitting in a bit more of a lower vibration, aloof, non-committal, and flaky. Go Deeper, The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost, and Mamine by David White. We all have deep longing to answer the call, to get unstuck. What are the obstacles between you and the door? Even in the stillness of meditation, the pilgrim feels the movement of the heart towards what it loves. And then we have this comic energy, and the comic is one of my favorite cards. I always say that you may not like the comic strokes, right? You may find the comic abrasive. You may find that the comic rubs you the wrong way, but there's catharsism in laughter, catharsism in comedy. And a lot of the time, I have a strong belief in comedy and the freedom of expression of comedy. So there's currently something going on. You can go and look at this. There's a comedian called Jimmy Carr, and he's in... a lot of people are going to feel really strongly about this. I know it's a slightly controversial subject. I've watched the comedy show. The particular joke that's kind of rubbed everybody up the wrong way was in. Jimmy Carr, as a comedian, his act is and has always been controversial, and his style of jokes is taking something very, very dark, painfully dark, scary, the worst parts of human society, the worst parts of human psyche, the parts of ourselves that scare ourselves as humans. And he makes a very crude, very controversial, very provoking joke about it. But this is the key, it's a joke. So that the whole act, his whole comedy routine and the whole show was based on saying the worst possible jokes that he could say, like the most controversial, the darkest humor he could possibly do in that show. And he actually prefixed that specific joke by saying, this is going to be what gets me cancelled. And then, he knew this was going to happen. And I want to say that specific joke, he was not saying... And this is the thing about comedians. Comedians are, I think, incredibly important because they allow things to be said that are dark and scary, and it allows it to be something that's cathartic or something that is, they say what can't be spoken. And in the joke he said should not be taken as a factual statement of like, this is something that is he makes terrible jokes, like really terrible jokes, like really, like if that was true, if that was a true opinion and if that was a real thing that someone was thinking or doing or speaking or saying, it would be atrocious. But it's making light of the darkness. And I want to say that every single human being sometimes has thoughts and things pop into our head and we think, oh my God, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the person who thinks that. Like, I don't, like, why did I think that? Why did I feel that? Why was I attracted to that? Like, that's horrendous. Where we repulse ourselves and then we go, oh, repress that, pretend that never happened. But he says it. And that's the thing. And that's, it's the thing, it's incredibly important. It's hard to intellectualize because people see it, take it at face value, and it's not that. And I'm not just talking about that one statement he made. I'm talking about all dark humor and dark comedy. It's my favorite kind of humor because it's so because it takes the power away. It takes away the power from the pain and the darkness that of the devil in society. It takes away the power of the collective devil that controls us and suppresses us, because we fucking laugh at it. We look at it right in the eye, look right in the face, and we laugh at the darkness. And that devil can't have power over us when we laugh at it. And now that's not saying that. Now, when he said that joke, when I was watching that comedy routine, I went, oh, right, like, oh, that was, ooh, that was right on the line, kind of thing. But it's, even if I had laughed at it, even if I had gone, ha ha ha, what a funny joke, doesn't mean that I agree with that statement. It doesn't mean I agree with, the horrific things that were done in history. It doesn't mean I share that value. It means that I acknowledge that he was making a dark joke. So I understand now, saying these things, I am going against the grain, right? Because most people haven't watched the show. They took the joke at face value. They thought that's appalling, and rightly so. It is an appalling joke. He says that it's an appalling joke, but without the full context of knowing that type of comedian, understanding British humor. It's a very dark. British humor is incredibly dark. If you take it out of context and you put it into the context of this horrific thing happened in history, these people are suppressed. You're making it serious again, which is how, by making it something serious again, you're actually giving that devil the power back. It's because the devil controls with fear. So it's really complicated, and I know that not everybody's going to share my view of comedy being something that has to be protected. If you look at any kind of society throughout history where people are suppressed, where people are controlled with fear, right? Tyrants, and we're talking about the thing that he was making a joke of, tyrants, right? Controlling with fear. Those people held onto power because they controlled with fear. When the population started looking back at them and laughing at them and making jokes about them and singing, Hitler has only got one ball, the other is in the Albert Hall. There's power in that. There's power in that. There's power in laughing in the face of danger. So I don't know why this is coming through so strongly right now. It's because, to me, comedy, even the comedy that makes you go, oh, that was too far, even comedy that I hate, like Roy Chubby Brown, I hate that kind of comedy, but it's like, it's important and it should be protected whether you like it or not, because it's the value of it. And there's other comedians. I watched that comedy show the day after my mum died because I had to laugh. I think it was the day after or 2 days after, and I was rock bottom. I was the cat behind the clown mask, right? It's funny, I was talking about clown mirrors, and I had to, and it was so incredibly cathartic for me, that comedy show. And I remember laughing and crying, like, because you're in so much pain, but like, you hear a joke and it makes you laugh, and then it's so incredibly cathartic, because then I was crying, like crying and laughing at the same time, like the fucking Joker, right? If you've seen the Joker movie where he's like crying, he's got that crying laugh. That's what I was like, and it was these emotions were coming out, and it was so cathartic and beneficial for me. So thank you, to that comedian for doing that comedy show, even though bits of it were uncomfortable. And I remember him saying in that comedy act, and he was explaining the importance of comedy as something that was cathartic. I want to say, if you're one of the people judging this comedy show, please go and watch the whole show so that you understand the context, the type of comedian he was, and especially the part where he talks about why he's doing it, right? He said he went to and my mum died of cancer. She was in an end of life care. He went to a ward where people were dying of cancer, where they had end of life care. terminal illness. And he said he was booked on to do these gigs. I think they were like charity gigs. And he said there were other comedians there, and all the comedians went on stage and they did the routines. Nobody mentioned death, nobody mentioned cancer, nobody mentioned anything that was even remotely in that area. But he went on and cracked immediately. Something about like, oh, I can make this. I can't remember the exact joke, but it's like, I can make this the same jokes I did last year because like none of you were here last year, like none of you were around to remember it. Something like that. It was like, oh, he went on and he looked that fear right in the face, the fear of death, the fear of pain, the fear of dying, the fear of losing people you love, looked it right in the eye and fucking made a joke about it. And he said they all laughed, like they laughed until their stomachs hurt. And that's the power of comedy, and that's why it's important, and that's why we have to laugh at the scary things. So why is that coming out? I don't know, but let's read the comic. The Joker, the Clown, the Fool. The comic carries a remedy for all that ails this world. And that's what I'm saying. That's the first thing that goes, the first thing that gets attacked when a society is turning into something that's tyrannical, right? When that Hierophant's turning into the reverse, or the Emperor's turning into the reverse, the first thing they do is they shut down humor. And that's why we're in such a scary time, because especially a few years back when, political correctness gone mad, where it's like you couldn't say anything because you would be like attacked. It's oppressive, and therefore it's the devil. Whether you think that you're on the right side of the fence, whether you think that you have the right values, whether you think you have the right opinion, you are suppressing freedom of speech, and that is terrifying, right? Do you see what I'm saying? So, right. The comic carries a remedy for all that ails this world. And that's the thing as well. This is why, if you look at like how the Nazis came into power, they did it on these ideals, right? They did it on this dogma. Don't accept, right? Do I end the reading here? Don't accept anything at face value. Do not question everything, right? Question everything. Just because something is the popular belief, just because something is presented as in a way where it's like, this is the right opinion, these are high ideals, it doesn't mean it's right. Because if it starts to oppress the opposing view, it's the devil. Whether you think you have the right opinion or not, right? Oppression of freedom of speech, oppression of comedy is the devil at work. The comic, disagree with me, I don't give a shit, right? Freedom of speech, I'm going to say it. Right, the comic carries a remedy for all that ails this world. Amid the deepest pain and suffering, there is always the potential to lift up and out of the darkness through laughter. Though dismissed by some as lowbrow or unsophisticated, this archetype actually has a highly advanced mind. Some may use the word genius, as humour requires one to see the situation from afar, rather than to be swept away by the drama. What's this? The emotion. The comic sees and accepts the messiness of life, using it as material. The comic sees and accepts the messiness of life, using it as material to be mixed and shaped into a potion to soothe the stressed and serious mind. They literally lighten us up. Thus, within the comic is usually the sage or the magician, working healing magic upon any audience who will lend an ear. And that's what that comedian did for me that day. Allowed me to cry, laugh my pain out. And I was laughing at a comedian making jokes about the thing that had just killed my mother. And I'm so thankful for that. I'm so thankful that I was able to laugh in one of my darkest moments. And I want to defend him. I want to explain all this. I want to, when I see people taking the joke out of context, or taking it in a context that it wasn't intended to be in, and therefore getting hurt by it, right? Because this is the thing as well, like comedy can be incredibly like on a knife edge, right? You can, the things that comics make joke about, you can get very politically correct about it, and you can be like, you shouldn't make jokes about that. You should make jokes about anything that's painful, because it's cathartic. And if you don't like it, if you don't like dark humor, like, don't watch it, and don't waste your time. Don't waste your time and energy attacking the person making the jokes, because that's not the danger. The real danger is the thing that they're joking about. Right? The comic may be the archetype that heals the deep division in our world, one pun at a time. When light, hilarious, ingenious, spirited, easygoing. When dark, sarcastic, harsh, brooding, drunk. But I think there's space for both. Go deeper. Images of laughing Buddha, stand-up or improv comedy. Joy, jokes and smiles are a sign of a happy heart. Be wary of the spiritual practices or teachers who leave the comic by the wayside. Be wary of spiritual practices or teachers who leave the comic by the wayside. What did we say about the dogma or being dogmatic? The comic has plenty of shade to throw on others, and it can fall into shadow at the drop of a hat. Beware of their sharp claws. Something about that. You see the dark eyes, right? I was going to say before as well, I watched two that day when I was in a lot of pain because my mother had just died. I watched two comedy shows back to back. One was Jimmy Carr, and one was Russell Howard's something or other. And Russell Howard, he's a very, very different comedian. He's much brighter, he's much sunnier, he's much more playful. And it's kind of like Jimmy Carr represents the dark comic, and Russell Howard represents the bright comic. As much as I love dark humour, I preferred Russell Howard's comedy show because he is so bright, because he is so enthusiastic. He puts this sunlight energy into everything. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful human being, like absolute, like diamond among humanity. His show was so positive, and it appealed to me more, because I do find some of Jimmy Carr's jokes a little bit too close to the bone. And as much as I appreciate that kind of dark comedy, sometimes it is a bit you know, and it makes you uncomfortable. And this is another brilliant thing about it, though, like the fact that it makes you uncomfortable is healthy. I made this comparison once when people were talking about the Merchant of Venice and Othello, and saying that there were racist plays. I was saying, just because the play is about racism, it doesn't mean that Shakespeare was racist, right? Yes, there was racism in his society, but I went and watched The Merchant of Venice that the RSC did with the late great I can't remember his name now. I can see his face. I can't remember his name. Anthony Sher, right? Anthony Sher played what's his name? Oh gosh, names are really hard to get sometimes when I'm channeling. Unless I'm given a name, it's like I have to really dig for it. He played the Merchant of Venice, right? He played Shylock. So and all the other characters were spitting on him, like the actors on the stage were spitting at him, and it was so horrific. And just because I was watching this play about racism, it's like whatever you're watching, whatever's on stage, however you react to it, there's something in that for you. You're having a human reaction, and it's telling you something about yourself. So it could be something where, you know, again with like the dark comedy, the dark humor, like something you like, you know, it's an ouch moment. It's like something's painful to look at, or you laugh and then you immediately feel guilty. Like it's telling you something about yourself. There's catharsis in there. There's lessons to be learned. It's provoking a reaction from you, which is the important thing. This reading's so long, and I've not even pulled your cards yet. To me, comedy is like one of the most, truth and comedy is so valuable. Right, let's keep going. Right. Am I going to put this reading up? Because it's, right. I am not offended. If you disagree with me, if you think I'm a horrible person because I laughed at a Jimmy Carr joke about cancer when my mum had just died, then, you know, whatever. That's not what the joke is, though, that's upset everybody. Like, do you know what? If you want to be upset about jokes, go and watch the show, because there's so many jokes to be upset about in there. Yeah, but Russell Howard says the same thing. He says, you know, there's value in comedy, and, you know, it's scary when comedy doesn't have a platform, you know. I missed it, and I've really, for the last few years, before COVID, I noticed this suppression energy coming in, where you know, comedians got very, very scared of being cancelled, right? And that's another brilliant thing that Jimmy Carr's doing. He's opening the door for comedians to make controversial jokes again, which is the comedian's right, I want to say, to make controversial jokes for all the reasons I've explained. So this suppression of comedy, and I noticed there was a real drying up of comedy. There was a real fear of saying the wrong thing, a real fear of, you know, within comedians of not being able to work again because, you know, one joke could get them completely cancelled. It could be career wrecking. So Jimmy Carr's whole routine was like, I'm going to try and get cancelled. I'm going to try and make the worst joke, because it was a response. It was a, and this is the intelligence that people don't understand behind it. It was a, it was fighting back. It was fighting back against the dogmatic, idealistic, oppressive, therefore devil-like suppression and the cancel culture, which I think now at this point a lot of people understand that cancel culture is toxic, right? Cancelling something for one statement that they made is toxic, because it's like you're not allowing for humans to be humans. You're not allowing for humans to make mistakes, and you know, you're not allowing people personal growth and the ability to learn from things and to change the behaviors. Cancel culture should be cancelled. Okay, what on earth is this reading? Right, let's keep going. The bat, right? So you're in bat energy. So intuitive, working in the darkness, having this kind of like sonar energy. It feels like almost like Cancer had this kind of like a radio, what's it called, like a sonar thing where it's like detecting the blips, detecting the blips in the force. So you may be like watching, like seeing how people respond, seeing how people react, making a joke, throwing something out there, seeing what people do with that. Okay, what is Virgo's energy, please? Virgo's energy. Who is Virgo in this reading? Trying to find some sort of balance, trying to make things right, trying to find some kind of equal give and take in terms of skills or assets. You may be in a position to help others. You may be in a position to give to others financially, tangibly. This could be your time. This could be knowledge. Okay. You are in the limelight. You are getting some kind of success. You are, lights are shining on you. You may be in the public eye in some sense. Maybe you are a comedian. Maybe you are a comic. Maybe you are a clown, right? There's some kind of like, there's this feeling of being on stage or being watched, or, you know, having, it could be like your social media presence, right? Feeling like you want to be successful, but also feeling like the spotlight's on you. Like maybe being careful what you say, feeling disappointed, feeling emotionally let down by something. What else, please, for Virgo? Blocked, cancelled, oops. Working together as part of a team. The need to make a decision. You have made a decision, you're just waiting to move. I think maybe you haven't made a decision, but I want to say the decision is obvious. It could be to do with wanting to go and see friends, wanting to get out and about, wanting to be social, wanting to collaborate, wanting to move towards people who feel like your soul tribe, they have shared values. But there is this kind of like blocked energy here. It feels like you're reading, it's two cards about disappointment. Knight of Cups there. Right, can you see these? Okay. Yeah, you've got some kind of dream, some kind of hope, some kind of wish, some kind of idea, something that's going to be very, very beneficial and healing to you to move towards. You're making a decision. The center of your reading is making a decision. It feels like, do I stay or do I go? It's coming in with feelings of abandonment, feelings of loss, feelings of disappointment, feelings of feeling out in the cold, feeling blocked, feels like you can't access some kind of friendship group, or you can't go somewhere where you're going to feel like it just feels like this Three of Cups represents some kind of, it could be a party, it could be a get-together, it could be a friendship group, it could be family, but it's something social where you're going to feel like you fit in, you're going to feel like these are your people, this is your tribe, this is where you're meant to be. But you have this feeling of like being stuck indoors and not being able to go. Like watching, it's like looking at social media, seeing your friends having fun, or looking out your window at the neighbour's party, right? The neighbours are having a party in the back garden, you're having a look thinking, God, I wish I was at that barbecue, but you're not. You're trapped inside. Maybe you're ill, maybe you've got work to do, you know, you're looking out the window thinking, I wish I was out there having fun. It may be a specific thing that you're looking at and wishing for. It may be a feeling, or like a feeling that you're searching for, that feeling of feeling connected, that feeling of feeling part of something, of having that friendship circle. But yeah, currently dealing with something where you're making your mind up, you're making a decision, but you're being affected by the Five of Cups and the Five of Pentacles, which are both, I've lost money, that door's closed to me, I feel left out, I've got FOMO, you know, it won't work out anyway. It's that kind of glass half empty attitude that Virgo sometimes has. Wouldn't work out anyway. They wouldn't like me. Could be something to do with work, because you do have this collaboration. Look at this. You've got 5 and 5 and 3 and 3, right? Right. There's 4 cards that are like the 3 of, and you've got the 2 that are about like social situations, or collaborating, or being part of a community, part of a network, part of a team. So it feels a little bit like, because this is like work and this is like friends. This is like work, this is social. So it's got a bit of an energy of like choosing between the two. Again, it's got this energy of all work and no play make Virgo a dull boy. So I can't, do I choose my work commitments, which are bringing me success? But it's making me feel a little bit emotionally empty. It's like maybe, you know, like the comedian on the road, or like the musician on the road, right? They're getting a lot of fame, they're getting a lot of recognition, they're getting a lot of success at work, right? It's like work's paying off here. I'm getting applauded, I'm getting recognition, but something's missing. Something's not, like, we work well as a team, but like there's something emotionally missing. There's like a social aspect that I'm missing out on here. But then over here, where the social aspect is, where it's like, I can see that you want to express love. No, it could be just expressing feelings, expressing appreciation. It could be romantic, but it doesn't have to be. It could just be like, you know, friendship group, family. I really appreciate you. I want to have you around. I want to be around you. But you have this feeling of like being blocked. I want to say it's maybe self-sabotaging, because this is all your energy. We'll pull some more cards in a minute to get more information. But it's like, it has this energy of like, they wouldn't open the door to me anyway. You know, even if I did choose them, even if I did choose my friends, they wouldn't want me there anyway. They wouldn't invite me to the party, even if I did want to go. So I'll just focus on work right now. So what's going on outside of Virgo? What's like, because this is all your energy. So what's going on outside of you? Who else are you dealing with? May have someone up on a pedestal a little bit. The Wheel. Hangman. Can I get a clarifier on the Hangman, please? And the Muse of Materials again. You had this a while back. I remember you having these 2 exact cards, the King of Wands and the King of Materials, and it was like choosing between them, choosing which path. So it's like the fun king, right? The king of fun, the king of charisma, the king of ideas, the king of creativity, and the king. It doesn't have to be a king, by the way. It doesn't have to be a man. And it could be like 2 life paths, or the king of practical, the king of logic. Well, it's not logic, but the king of the thing that needs to be done, the king of stability, the king of having enough food on your plate, right? It's like work or play. Really does have this work or play thing. So outside of you, you may have been blocked by somebody that you see as very, very magnetic, very creative, very passionate, a lot of fun, really kind of knows how to take that fire and turn it into something special. The King of Wands is not a player. The Page of Inspiration could be a bit of a player. They're experimental. They don't know what they want. The King of Inspiration is quite sure about what they want. They're quite determined. They've got a lot of passion that they throw at the things that they want. So if the King of Wands wants you, they can hold back. They can control the passions. They're not somebody who's like, you know, swinging it around the club or anything like that. The King of Wands is like, there may have been a player in the past, but it's like, oh, I know exactly what I want. I know exactly what turns me on. I know exactly what I'm, you know, what makes me passionate. I know exactly where to throw my time and my energy and my passions to get good results, because they're experienced, right? So if the King of Wands wants you, you're gonna know probably that the King of Wands wants you, right? But again, you've got this kind of like blocked energy. Now, I do feel like there's a bit of self-sabotage going on here, where it's like you're pretending to be really busy at work, or you're pretending to, or you are actually focusing on work because you're getting success and reward and recognition there. Where the social side, the feelings on this side, could be that this person intimidates you, or you know, it's like they're so like they light up. The King of Wands lights up the whole room, right? They're quite domineering in their energy. They're quite not in a oppressive, tyrannical way, but in a way that's like, you know, the lion of the pride, you know, the king of the pride. They everybody's eyes are on them, you know, people hang off their every word. So you could feel a little bit intimidated by this person, whether it's a love interest or somebody that you're working with, or just a friend that you want to go and have fun with. So you may be getting in your own head about it. Somebody's experiencing some kind of change in fortune. It's in the upright, so it looks like it's good for them. It could be that they're entering a new cycle, a new fresh cycle that's going to be very profitable to them. They could have some money coming in. They could feel like life is running very smoothly for them, or they're about to step into this phase. They see things from a very different angle from you, I want to say. Again, I'm feeling like you have the dogma. This person feels like they see things from a very different point of view to you. Again, with the creative energy, that's thinking outside of the box. That's looking at things from a lot of different angles, really seeing things from, really being able to see things from a different perspective, probably from your perspective, because they're looking at you. With the Page of Inspiration, this is also an energy. It can be a very young energy. Again, it can be that kind of experimental phase. It could be two different people. It could be part of the same person. It could be some kind of project that's going through the ideas phase, right? The creative phase, the all the things we could do phase, all the things we could do, all the ideas we have, all the dreams we have, like the potential. Where do I invest? You've got this real King of Wands, King of Pentacles energy coming through. Like again with the Hangman. Again, it could be two parts of you, two sides of the self, you and your own shadow, right? You naturally being more of a King of Pentacles energy, you know. Sorry, that's just my foot on the chair, I'm not farting. You naturally having a bit more of a King of Pentacles energy about you, where it's like, I want to create a stable environment. I want to make sure that the bills are paid. I want to make sure that, you know, I've got food on the table, that I'm looking after everybody, that I'm working hard, that I'm earning money, you know, that I'm reliable, that I'm needed. The King of Pentacles is like, you know, a needed energy. So it's like doing the things that need to be done. But at the same time, I want to say the shadow part of yourself is this it's the need to gamble, the need to take risks, the need to be spontaneous, the need to be exciting, the need to be passionate, the need to be that action hero of the movie. It really does feel like two sides of the self. The other angle of your own personality, or it could be that there's somebody outside of you. It could be that you're looking at somebody who you see as this, like you see this person as being, you know, magnetic and spontaneous and fun and creative. And it's like, even though you have success at what you do, and your success is a very kind of slow and steady, dependable success. I like Virgo energy. Again, I've got a lot of Virgos around me who look after me, and like I appreciate that, because I'm more of the King of Wands energy. I am more of like the creative, like random, spontaneous, looking at things from different angles, coming up with like wild ideas energy, and it's not the most practical. So I don't know, it could be that you're looking at somebody like this and thinking, oh, I wish I was more like them. I wish I could just do things on a whim. I wish I could be spontaneous. You feel like you're being pulled in two directions. I want to say that you're resistant to that as part of yourself, because again, it's like that need for security, that need for dependability is so important to you. The kind of dogma aspect of you. And yet this is what you're craving. The fun, the passion, the creativity, the wildness is part of what you really need, right? I don't know. Right, let's get you some advice. I want to go, because I was seeing the dog card from this deck, and I don't know if that's what's going to come out, but let's just see what you get. Let's get you some advice, please. Some advice for this reading. Advice for, armadillo, crunchy on the outside, soft on the inside, armadillo, and fruit bat, flying fox. This person, the girl on this card, is rejected by her king, by her kingdom, and she's put on a desert island. And she's very, very kind though, and she feeds the fruit bats, or the foxes, I can't remember, and they return her kindness. So because she fed them in the past, because she nurtured them, because she was kind to the animals, in her time of need, when she's abandoned, when she's isolated, which is very much this energy at the center of the reading, the fruit bats return the favor. They bring her fruit, they bring her seeds, they bring her a lot of abundance. So it could be that somebody's returning a favor to you, possibly. But groundedness, armadillo. So your advice is actually to be in your energy, to be grounded, to be stable, to be Virgo. Like, success comes in different ways. What works for one person may not be your path, right? So even though this person seems to be having the time of their life, maybe the finances are a mess, maybe they're in a load of debt, right? So they might look like they're having a brilliant time, but would that lifestyle really suit you? And yet, how can you have a little bit more of that in your life? How can you be a little bit more open? How can you drop the dogma and see things from other perspectives and allow that energy in a way that you can mine it, right? Mine it for things that are going to be beneficial to you, and then leave the rest, leave the stuff that doesn't fit. But you don't know if you don't experiment. Without grounding ourselves, we can become disconnected and flighty, so it is an important aspect to develop. Go to the basics first, plug into the power of the earth, avoid drama in situations. Sometimes this keeps coming through, it keeps coming through a lot this week, avoid the drama. Sometimes we need to look at the flowers at our feet before looking to the stars. Humility, oh my God, such a Virgo trait. Humility is a positive trait. False humility is not. So be careful. Are you really being humble? Like humble and kind. That's a very, very Virgo song to me. Tim McGraw, I think it is, Humble and Kind. It's like who Virgo wants to be, how Virgo wants to be perceived. The god walks slowly but surely upon the earth. He is of high age and leans a little on his walking stick, but moves smoothly. His shoes are heavy and they feel the earth with every step. This grandfather, Mam, is wise and eternal. But make no mistake, age does not mean weakness, for he is powerful. He wears a... They're showing me Jackie Chan. I want to say, is it the Monkey King? I think it might be Drunken Master. I think it might be Drunken Master. I'm not sure. I might be mixing up the two films. But he portrays somebody as being, a little bit... I think in both of those films, he's portrayed as being somebody very humble, right? A little bit gentle and humble, but then he can fight, right? He can fight when he needs to fight. So there's something about that coming through. Make no mistake, age does not mean weakness, for he is powerful. He wears a hat of the bird of night, for he walks from the underworld. He has the ears of a jaguar, for he is one who powerfully walks through the darkest of nights. He wears the cape of an armadillo shell, for he is protected and grounded and carries all he needs with him. A man of magic, he smokes the herbs of vision, do you know? And yet he can weave the worlds together while being sure upon his feet. This, according to the classification of the codical gods, is one of the major pre-Spanish Mayan deities, God El. God El is featured in many Mayan works of art, but specifically the most famous has him walking around the door of the sanctuary at Palenque. Okay, and then it's just kind of more information about armadillos. The magic. Armadillo magic is profoundly earth-based and grounded. It is ancient and profound and can be used when you are feeling off-kilter and unsure. If you aren't clear on what to do next or have had a trauma or a shock, use armadillo magic to bring you stability and power. All right, I hope that's helpful to you. Do check out the description box for some songs. I'll put some songs off camera that you may find helpful in your reading, and go and check those out. I don't know if I'm going to edit this video down a little bit, just because I'm wary about, I don't want to get cancelled, right? I don't get cancelled for having an opinion about something that is incredibly meaningful and impactful and cathartic for me. So I don't know. So interesting though about the dogma. Interesting about having a fixed point of view, and maybe learning a lesson from whoever this is about seeing things from different perspectives. Understanding that not everybody has the same dogma, right? Not everybody has the same set of beliefs, and this can be about many things. For me, it's feeling like my own personal opinion, my own deep belief that even if you don't agree with the type of comedy, and even if you find that comedy offensive, protecting the comic's freedom of speech is more important than cancelling something because of one stupid joke that they made, right? It's like the right to be offensive, the right to have an offensive opinion is more important. Is the right to have an offensive opinion needs to be protected, because if you cannot, if every single time someone says something that somebody finds offensive is shut down, suppressed, we're in a huge amount of danger as a society of having freedom of speech suppressed. So even if you don't agree with what somebody's saying, their right to say it is something that everybody should protect, right? Does that make sense? Even if somebody's saying something awful and offensive and shocking, their right to say it has to be protected, because when you shut down anyone's voice, when you make it acceptable to shut down voices, to deplatform people, or to cancel people and to take away their voice, that's opening a door for the kind of tyranny and the kind of horrendous power that caused these atrocities in the first place. Like, where should your anger be directed? Should your anger be directed at the people who use oppression as a tool to cause atrocious acts, or should it be aimed at the person making a joke about it to allow people to laugh at something that was incredibly, incredibly dark and scary and serious? Aim your anger in the right places. It's playing out for me as well on a different, I won't go into this because I'm not trying to make the most controversial reading that ever existed, but there's something else playing out for me on social media at the moment where people are angry at a certain decision that's been made, but the decision was made because of a very, very oppressive law. And it's like, why are you angry at the person dealing with the law when it's the law itself that needs to be changed? So don't bandwagon. Really see things from all perspectives and really work out where the real devil hides. And the real devil often hides behind a face of virtue and people wanting to be seen as making the right decision, people wanting to have the right opinion for fear of getting cancelled. Or that's really insidious, right? That's the true insidious nature of the devil energy, making you think you're right while using you as a tool of oppression. So just be careful. Just be careful. All right, do take care of yourselves. Love you to pieces. Please don't hate on this reading, and I will see you again soon. Virgos, bye bye.